Thomas wasn't searching for survivors. He wasn't looking for a black box. He was hunting a rumor. For months, whispers followed him from bar to bar, dock to dock, a missing airplane, swallowed by the sea, carrying something no one dared to talk about out loud. Something valuable, something forbidden, and according to the stories, something that was never meant to be found. At first, Thomas laughed it off. Stories like that always grow teeth in the dark. But then a local approached him quietly, carefully, and offered a deal. "I know where it is," the man said. "I just can't go down there." Thomas hesitated. Curiosity had ruined smarter men than him. Still, he agreed. They would split whatever they found, 50-50. The next morning, they were alone on open water. No other boats, no witnesses, just waves and silence. When the locals suddenly shouted for Thomas to stop, his heart skipped. Beneath the surface, barely visible through the shifting light, was a shape that didn't belong there. A plane. Intact. Waiting. Thomas suited up without wasting a second. As he descended, the world narrowed to breath, pressure, and the growing silhouette beneath him. The wreck hadn't torn apart like most crashes. No gaping holes, no collapse, which meant whatever was inside was still inside. He tried the window. It didn't budge. Circled the plane. No entry. His oxygen dropped faster than his patience. Forced to retreat, Thomas surfaced, already planning his return, but the sea had other ideas. The sky darkened. Wind screamed. Waves rose like walls. The boat was no match. The storm took everything. When Thomas woke, he was alive, barely pulled from the water by fishermen who didn't ask questions. They brought him to a village he'd never seen, a place where doors closed when he walked past and eyes followed him in silence. Someone had talked. They believed he'd found treasure, and that's when one man stayed behind watching from the corner, a man they called Andy. "The plane isn't just a wreck," Andy said calmly. "It's a warning." That night, sleep never came. The image of the plane wouldn't let go. Neither would the feeling that he was no longer alone in this hunt. So Thomas went looking for answers, and what he found in an old book would change everything. Because the legend was real. Morning came without relief. Thomas opened his eyes and froze. Andy was sitting on the edge of the bed. Not threatening, not smiling, just waiting. No explanation followed. None was needed. They moved quickly. No small talk. No second guesses. Whatever was waiting beneath the water wasn't going to wait forever. The sea was calm this time, almost too calm. When the plane appeared again through the blue haze, Thomas felt his chest tighten. He didn't hesitate. He smashed the window with everything he had. The glass finally gave way, and the truth rushed out with the water. It wasn't machinery. It wasn't weapons. It wasn't gold stacked in crates. It was a sealed object, wrapped, preserved, hidden with care. When they hauled it back to the surface, both men stood in silence. At first glance, it looked like a relic, ancient, forgotten, almost human in shape. But inside, a diamond. Flawless. Massif. Impossible. Worth more than Thomas could comprehend. The legend had been real. The curse, too, not because it destroyed people, but because it tempted them to become something they weren't. Months later, the world watched as the artifact sold for $54 million. Historians called it the discovery of the century. Collectors fought over it. Headlines screamed. Thomas and Andy disappeared. No interviews, no fame, no explanation. Because some discoveries aren't meant to change history. They're meant to change the people who find them. And curiosity, once satisfied, always leaves a price behind even when you survive to pay it.